Tervan Saranai. Good evening, everyone. Dear friends of the Dhamma, now you are here today to perform a special evening offering to the Buddha, followed by the Dhamma sermon. Please say sadhu 3 times to observe the precepts. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. නමෝ තස්ස භගවතු අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතු අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතු අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස බුද්ධං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි ධම්මං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි සංඝං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි ဒုတိယံ පි බුද්ධං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි ဒုတိယံ පි ධම්මං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි ဒုတိယံ පි සංඝං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි තතියම්පි බුද්ධං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි තතියම්පි ධම්මං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි තතියම්පි සංඝං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි පානාතිපාතා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි අදින්නාදාන වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි කාමේසු මිච්ඡාචාරා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි මුසාවාදා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි සුරාමේරය මජ්ජපමා දට්ඨානා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි තිසරණේන සද්ධින් පංචසීලං ධම්මං සාදුකං සුරක්ඛිතං කତ୍වා අපමාදේන සම්පාදේ තබ්බං Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear friends of the Dhamma, today is August 15th, Saturday evening. All of you know, during this special occasion, Vassana season, we do every weekend very special offering to the Buddha as well as special Dhamma sermon. Today, all of you been participating to perform a wonderful meritorious actions. We all are know one who offered something to the Buddha by remembering greatness, remembering wisdom, and remembering his enlightenment, so we can accumulate wonderful merits. So these merits would help us to have a good life in this life as well as next life. So until attain bliss of Nibbana. Having this virtuous and purified thoughts, all of you gathered or here to participate to this special offering and the Dhamma sermon. So as usual, today is the we have several families to sponsoring the offering to the Buddha and the Dhamma sermon. Mrs. Subhashini Bogamua and daughter Shani, son Amal Bogamua, and Mrs. Gayani, daughter Oneli, son Rohain, and Mr. Dilhan Viraratna, Mrs. Aruni, daughter Asanya, son Nikit, and Mr. Prashant Vaulagala, Mr. Janak, and daughter Sandali, and son Nimidu, and Mrs. Deepani Ambalangodage, Mrs. Udarshika, and daughter Nioni, Tioni, and Mr. Tharind the Soisa, Mr. Chamara, and their son Kayan, and Shanti Sandaradura, and Mrs. Madhavi, and their son Kavit, and Mr. Tihan Padukavidana. So we would like to extend these merits towards all the sponsoring families and also all who participate in this special offering to the Buddha. So after the offering, we will be transferring merits to their departed relatives and the deities and uh, many of you. Having this thought, uh, please join for the recitation. Now we are going to offer the Buddha Puja, offering to the Buddha that you prepared medicinal drinks, flowers, incense, and the candle lights by remembering the qualities and of the Buddha. You know that the Buddha is the enlightened one, the worthy one, the fully, perfectly enlightened one. So we are going to offer these puja items or offering to the Buddha. By offering these, uh, conducting this special offering to the Buddha, we can accumulate great deal of merits and great blessings. So we bless you all, your entire family, and your departed relatives. May they be well, happy, and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May all be well, happy, and peaceful. Having this wonderful thought, please join for the recitation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස. Homage to the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. Itipiso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vijjhacharana sampanno sugato lokavido anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati sattha deva manusanang බුද්ධෝ භගවාති ස්වාක්ඛාතෝ භගවතා ධම්මෝ සන්දෙට්ඨිකෝ අකාලිකෝ ඒහි පස්සිකෝ ඕපනයිකෝ පච්චත්තං වේදිතබ්බෝ විඤ්ඤෝහිති සුපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ සාවක සංඝෝ උජුපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ සාවක සංඝෝ ඥායපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ සාවක සංඝෝ සාමීචි පටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ සාවක සංඝෝ යදිදං චත්තාරි පුරේස යුගානි අට්ඨ පුංගලා ඒස භගවතෝ සාවක සංඝෝ ආහුනේයෝ පාහුනේයෝ දක්ඛිනේයෝ අංජලිකරණීයෝ අනුත්තරං පුඤ්ඤක්කෙත්තං ලෝකසාති සාදු සාදු සාදු. Please repeat after me, offering lights to the Buddha. Ganasarappadittena Dīpena tamadang trina Tiloka dīpang sambuddhang Pujayami tamonudang. Offering flowers. Vanna gandha gunopetang etang kusuma santating Pujayami muning dassa Siripada saroruhe. Offering water. Sugandhang sitalang kappang Pasanna madurang subang Paniya metang bhagava Atiganhatu muttama. Offering medicinal drinks. Adivase tuno bante Gilana panchayang imang Anukampang upadaya Patiganhatu muttama. Adivase tuno bante බේසජ්ජං පරිකප්පිතං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පතිගන්හාතු මුත්තම අදිවාසේතුනෝ බන්තේ සබ්බං සද්ධාය පූජිතං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පතිගන්හාතු මුත්තම සුගන්ධිකාය වදනං අනන්ත ගුණගන්ධිනා සුගන්ධිනාහං ගන්ධේන පූජයාමි තථාගතං මාගේ ස්වාමියෝ භාග්‍යවත්නෝ බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේ සියලු දෙව් මිනිසුන්ගේ ගුරුවරයා වනසේක බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේගේ මහා කරුණාව මහා ප්‍රඥාව කිසිවෙකුට සම කළ නොහැක බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේ සියලු ලෝ සතුනට දහම් මඟ පෙන්වූසේක දුකින් මිදවාගත්සේක මංමුලා වූ අයට මග කියා දුන්සේක ප්‍රඥා ඇස දුන්සේක මග නොමග ගිය අයට මාර්ගය පෙන්වූසේක එසේ අනන්ත ගුණ ඇති බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේට අප විසින් පිළියෙල කරන ලද මේ සියලුම පූජාවෝ පූජා කරමි පූජාම වෙත්වා සාදු 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 වන්දාමි චේතියං සම්බං සම්බතානේ සුපතිට්ඨිතං සාරීරික ධාතු මහා බෝධින් බුද්ධ රූපං සකලං සදා යස්ස මූලේ නිසින්නෝව සම්බාරි විජයන්නකා පත්තෝ සම්බං යුතං සත්තා වන්දේ තං බෝධිපාදපං ඉමේ ඒතේ මහාබෝධි ලෝකනාතේන පූජිතා අහම්පිතේ නමස්සාමි බෝධිරාජා නමත්තුතේ කායේන වාචා චිත්තේන පමාදේන මයා කතං අච්චයං කමමි බන්තේ බුරි පඤ්ඤ තථාගත කායේන වාචා චිත්තේන පමාදේන මයා කතං අච්චයං කමමි ධම්ම සන්දිට්ඨික අකාලික කායේන වාචා චිත්තේන පමාදේන මයා කතං අච්චයං කමමි සංඝ සුපටිපන්න අනුත්තර සාදු 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 නමස්කාර වේවා බුදුරුවනට සැමදා මම බුදු සරණ යමි නමස්කාර වේවා දම්රුවනට සැමදා මම දම් සරණ යමි නමස්කාර වේවා සංඝරුවනට සැමදා මම සංඝ සරණ යමි නමස්කාර වේවා තුනුරුවනට සැමදා තිසරණ සරණ යමි සාදු 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 ආකාසට්ඨා ච බුම්මට්ඨා දේවා නාග මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු ලෝක සාසනං ආකාසට්ඨා ච බුම්මට්ඨා දේවා නාග මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු ලෝක සාසනං ආකාසට්ඨා ච බුම්මට්ඨා දේවා නාග මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු ලෝක සාසනං ඉදං මේ ඥාතිනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ඉදං මේ ඥාතිනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ඉදං මේ ඥාතිනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ඉමිනා පුඤ්ඤ කම්මේන මාමේ බාල සමාගමෝ සතන් සමාගමෝ හෝතු යාව නිබ්බාන පත්තියා ඉදං මේ පුඤ්ඤං ආසවක්ඛයා වහන්නෝතු සම්බ දුක්ඛා පමුඤ්චතු සාදු 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 වාසනාවන්ත කාරුණික පින්වත්නි අද 2020 අවුරුද්දේ අගෝස්තු මාසේ 15 වෙනිදා හැන්දෑවේ වස් කාලය තුල සිදු කෙරෙන විශේෂ සම්බුද්ධ වන්දනා විශේෂ ධර්ම දේශනා වැඩසටහන සඳහා පින්වත් ඔබ හැමදෙනාම සම්බන්ධ වෙලා සිටින්නේ අද දවසේ මේ උතුම් පින්කමේ දායකත්වයේ දරනවා සුභාෂිනී බෝගමුව නෝනා මහත්මිය අමල් සහ ශානි බෝගමුවේ පවුලේ දරුවන් හැමදෙනාම විශේෂයෙන්ම චන්ද්‍රා බෝගමෝ සහ මාපා බෝගමෝ සුභානෝනා මහත්මියගේ ආදරණීය මෞතුමිය සහ තාත්තා මේ ලංකාවේ ඉන්නේ. මෑණියන්ට චන්ද්‍රා බෝගමෝ මෑණියන්ට තරමක් අසනීප තත්ත්වයේ පසුගිය කාලේ සිටියේ. ඉතින් අපි අද මේ උතුම් බුද්ධ වන්දනාව තුළින් චන්ද්‍රා බෝගමෝ මෑණියන්ට නිදුක් නිරෝගී භාවය, සුවපත් භාවය, දිගාසිරි සම්පන්නිය ප්‍රාර්ථනා අධිෂ්ඨාන කරනවා. ඒ වගේම මේ පවුලේ හැම දෙනාටමත් අපි ප්‍රාර්ථනා අධිෂ්ඨාන කරනවා නිරෝගී සුවය. ඒ වගේම ගායනී නෝනා මහත්මිය, ඒ වගේම දිල්හාන් විරත්න මහත්මයා, දිල්හාන් මහත්මයාගේ තාත්තා සුසන්තා විරත්න පියතුමාණන්ට පුණ්‍යානුමෝදනා කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. රුහෙන් සහ ඔනෙලි ඒ දරුවන් හැම දෙනාමත් අද මේ උතුම් පින්කමේ ප්‍රධාන දායකත්වය දරනවා. ඒ වගේම ආරුණි වවුලගල නෝනා මහත්මිය සහ ක්‍රිෂාන්ත වවුලගල නෝනා මහත්මයා අරුණි නෝනා මහත්මියගේ සහෝදරිය අනුරුද්ධිකා හිත්තැටිය සහෝදරියට පුණ්‍යානුමෝදනා කරන්න. මීට වසර 27කට මත්තෙන් පරලෝසපත් වෙලා තියෙනවා. ප්‍රේමතිලක වවුලාගල පියතුමාණන්ට පුණ්‍යානුමෝදනා කරන්නත් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම ජනක් අම්බලන්ගොඩගේ මහත්මයා දීපාලි මහත්මිය, සඳලි සහ නිමිඩුවේ දරුවන් හැමදෙනාම වගේම දීපානි නෝනා මහත්මියගේ තාත්තාට පුණ්‍යානුමෝදනා කරන්න. ආර්.කේ. හෙට්ටිගේ පියතුමාණන් වසර 3කට මත්තෙන් පරලෝසපත් තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම අවුරුදු 26කට පෙර මියගිය අම්බලන්ගොඩගේ ඒ.ජී.එස්. සිල්වා ජනක මහත්මයාගේ තාත්තාට පුණ්‍යානුමෝදනා කරන්න. ඒ වගේම මේ දෙපළගේ මෑණිවරුන්ට ආශිර්වාද කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. දුදර්ශිකා නෝනා මහත්මිය සහ තරින්ද සහ තියෝනිද සොයිසයි දුව එයයි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. රෝලන් සොයිසා මහත්මයාට පුණ්‍යානුමෝදනා කරන්න. ඒ වගේම චාමර මහත්මයා සහ චන්කි නෝනා මහත්මිය පවුලේ තාකේයන් චාමර මහත්මයාගේ තාත්තාට පුණ්‍යානුමෝදනා කරන්න. විල්සන් සිල්වා මහත්මයා වසර 5කට මත්තෙන් මියගිය තාත්තාට පින් දෙන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම මාධවී නෝනා මහත්මිය තමන්ගේ මියගිය තාත්තා සෙනරත් ඩයස් මහත්මයා වසර 20කට පෙර මියගිලා තිනවා. ඒ අයට පුණ්‍යානුමෝදනා කරන්න. තිහාන් පාදුක්ක විදාන ඒ පුතා කවිත් ඇතුළු මේ නම් සඳහන් කළ පින්වත් හැම දෙනාම අපි බොහෝම කරුණාවෙන් යායට ආශිර්වාද කරනවා. ඒ මියගිය අයට පුණ්‍යානුමෝදනා කරනවා. ඒ වගේම කොවිඩ් වදුර නිසා මේ වසනයට පත් වෙලා සිටින රෝගාතුර සිටින අයට ආශිර්වාද ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. විශේෂයෙන්ම අපේ සුබානෝනා මහත්මියට ගැන සිහිපත් කළා. ඉතින් අපි අද දවසේ මේ උතුම් පින්කමේ දායකත්වයේ දරන මේ නම් සඳහන් කළ හැමදෙනාම බුද්ධ පූජාවේ සහ අදට නියමිත ධර්ම දේශනාවේ දායකත්වයේ දරනවා. ඒ හැමදෙනාටම අපි පුණ්‍යානුමෝදනා කරනවා. Dear friends of the Dhamma, now we are transferring merits to the deities and the departed relatives, those who are sponsoring today's special Buddha, offering to the Buddha and the special Dhamma sermon during this Vassana period. So we dedicated offering to the Buddha and we received the blessings and the merits. So now we are going to transfer in merits to those who departed relatives, the sponsoring families as well as all the participants right now. Please just think, bring your thought to your departed relatives and transfer merits to them. May they receive this great deal of merits, may attain ultimate peace, ultimate happiness and Nibbana. So having that thought, please say sadhu, 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 sadhu. So now, and also we'd like to bless you all, your entire family members, and your ancestors and all the members, grandparents, and your entire family members. May you receive these blessings. May you be well, happy, and peaceful. having this mind, now we are starting the Dhamma sermon. Please join for the Dhamma sermon. You know that during this Vassana period, we have invited very special monks uh, to conduct this sermon. So today we invited uh, for the Dhamma sermon most venerable chief abbot of Hilda Javardhanaramya Buddhist Monastery, Ottawa, Canada. So most venerable our uh, Jinananda, Bante Jinananda Hamguru. Now we would like to invite very respectfully to deliver the Dhamma sermon.
නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Venerable Panyasiri and dear friends in Dhamma, it brings me a great pleasure to deliver this Dhamma sermon with the invitation of Venerable Panyasiri. Because delivering Dhamma, as the Buddha said, is a happy and peaceful thing for all of us. I was informed by Venerable Panyasiri about the Vassana Dhamma sermons and other programs. So I accepted the invitation without any hesitation to do this Dhamma sermon for the sake of good friends who join with us online. So friends, before I begin, I therefore thank Venerable Panyasiri for inviting me, and I'm happy that you joined with the temple programs, and now you are listening to me. So I try my best to make you happy with the Dhamma with this given period of time. The Buddha delivered the Dhamma for the sake of all human beings and all living beings. Therefore, the Buddha, is considered the teacher for humans and gods, Satta Deva Manusana. So he is the mentor and also the great teacher for all of us as well as divine beings. What he exactly expects from us when he delivers the Dhamma is to understand the message he delivers and follow his guidelines for peace and happiness. When he understood the reality of this life with the so-called, quote unquote name called the Chaturarya Satya, he thought that this is very deep and one has to understand with deep analysis, but how can this world with sensual pleasures, immersed in sensual pleasures, understand this truth? Therefore, he was waiting and waiting until the highest of the existence come and invited him. At that moment, he thought that there are people, living beings, who could understand this reality, and uh, that's how he delivers the Dhamma to five monks in that group. And then within the 45 years of his ministry, he showed the path for uncountable number of living beings, the path of peace and happiness, the path of enlightenment. So today, with this Dhamma sermon, I just want you to open your mind towards the reality he delivers, and try your best to develop your mind in Sila, Samadhi, and Panya. Dear friends, having said that, I just want to remind you that you can ask questions at any point of the sermon, which I don't mind, because that elevates me to continue my Dhamma sermon with extra explanation. Anyway, I am giving you a couple of minutes at the last, last moment of the sermon for questioning. But anyway, you can ask any questions about any unclear point of the Dhamma during the sermon. Before I begin the sermon, I just want to explain few things about the Buddha's teaching. A lot of people think that the Dhamma he delivers could only be practiced by in a given period of time in our life, and it could be practiced by some people, for example, monks and nuns basically, and lay people can practice, but they takes time. But when we look at the teachings of the Buddha very clearly, friends, we can say that any person could be practiced by the Dhamma, and Dhamma is for everyone. We come across a very nice statement of the Buddha's teaching about the listening to Dhamma in Majjhima Nikaya. It is said that the Buddha appeared in this world to enlighten himself, and his whole effort is to enlighten others. Buddhoso Bhagava Bodhaya Dhamman Deseti. Buddha attained to the Buddha attained to enlightenment, and his whole effort of explaining Dhamma is to make others enlightened. Tinnoso Bhagava Tarnaya Dhamman Deseti. The Buddha crossed over this suffering called, the flood of rivers and suffering of rivers, and he explained the Dhamma to others for the same purpose. Santoso Bhagava Samataya Dhamman Deseti. By following the noble qualities, the Buddha himself was able to discipline himself, and his whole effort in explaining the Dhamma is for people to discipline themselves. So that is one of the aims of the Dhamma sermons. And then Santoso Bhagava Samataya Dhamman Deseti. By following the Noble Eightfold Path, the Buddha himself practiced concentration, samadhi, to make his mind pure and clean. And the very purpose of his sermons is to gain samadhi by people. So Parinibbutoso Bhagava Parinibbanaya Dhamman Deseti. The last purpose he mentioned is that the Buddha attained to full enlightenment and attained parinibbana or relinquishment, and the purpose of explaining Dhamma in the name of Dhamma Desana or Dhamma discussion is for us to gain enlightenment or parinibbana. So now it is very clear that the purpose of listening to Dhamma sermon, or engage in Dhamma discussion, or writing Dhamma books, or any activity in the name of Dhamma is to gain purification of our mind, and is to surmount sorrow and lamentation, overcome pain and grief, and gaining knowledge, and also discipline, concentration, and crossing over suffering, and attain to enlighten. So friends, within this 1 hour, try your best to direct your mind to the reality of your mind and body, because Dhamma could be recorded in books and electronic media or whatever media they are stored. But Dhamma could be manifested only in human perception, in human mind. As the way you perceive, it become manifested in you. That's why pachattang veditabbu vinyohiti. The Dhamma is shine according to the level of wisdom the individual practitioners have. So, friends, therefore, you try your best to connect your experience to the Dhamma that I'm going to tell and bring your mind to a happy and peaceful states, because happiness and peace, peaceful mind are some of the basic qualities of successful Dhamma listening. If you cannot be happy by listening to Dhamma, there is a problem either in my sermon from my part or from your part. Therefore, we just need to make our mind happy. So, friends, just get ready for the sermon. Today, I thought of explaining you some practical aspect of the Dhamma, how we are going to apply the Dhamma in daily basis to make us happy and peaceful. There is a particular discourse in Majjhima Nikaya, and it is called Kakachupama Sutta. So, based on Kakachupama Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya, Sutta number 21, I just deliver this sermon. Why do I select this particular discourse? Because it gives so many good things for us as lay people, as monks, as anybody else. We all can get very good lessons of the Dhamma from this discourse. So one day, let me tell you the story of this discourse. Therefore, you can follow the teachings of the discourse very well. So one day, the Buddha was living at the Jetas monastery in Savatthi, Jetanarame. There, he came to know about some misbehavior of a monk. This monk's name is Moliya Pagguna. So one monk came to the Buddha and said that the monk Moliya Pagguna has this issue. This Moliya Pagguna is getting angry when his friends, are rebuked and talk about. For example, Moliya Pagguna has always with bhikkhunis, and Moliya Pagguna likes to associate bhikkhunis for some reason, and he used to go to the bhikkhuni monastery or bhikkhunis, a group of bhikkhuni, not everyone. A group of bhikkhuni come to his place and spend time with him, talking this and that. So this is not this is not the way a proper monk behaves. So this monk and many monks around here, Moliya Pagguna's kuti, showed his mistake. But what happened as a result? Bhikkhuni who came to know about these group of monks who went to Moliya Pagguna and advised him not to associate bhikkhunis got angry. So the group of bhikkhuni who liked Moliya Pagguna did not like those monks who went and advised their dream monk. As a result, these bhikkhunis got angry, and when these bhikkhunis were advised by fellow bhikkhunis around, don't go to monks like this and don't spend time with them in improper time. So then Moliya Pagguna got angry with those bhikkhunis. So this report went to the Buddha through that monk. Then the Buddha asked Moliya Pagguna to meet him, and then the discussion on the discourse is going on after that. So Buddha asked Moliya Pagguna, is this true that you associate bhikkhunis in improper time, and you spend time with them more than we expect, and is this true? Then Moliya Pagguna said that yes. So, in this regard, Buddha said that it is not good for bhikkhus to spend time with bhikkhunis, and you come to the order as a bhikkhu just to practice Dhamma in the name of Sila, Samadhi, and Panya, and try to gain your goals, winning. And you are here to practice your monastic principles and Vinaya and become a good monk. But you are doing something else which is not proper for you and which is not proper for the next generation. Then Venerable Maulia Paguna was advised in many ways according to the discourse, and very important thing we can find here. So the Buddha basically tells everyone, not only Maulia Paguna, but everyone, that when somebody speak about bad thing about us, what exactly uh, we do and we think. Suppose somebody that you know talk about something bad about you. So what would be our reaction? I think many people get angry. Many people get upset. Many people try to retaliate either by same type of allegation, same type of word, same type of manner. So that is the common reaction of human beings. Why? Usually human beings follow the way of six senses. In Salayatana Sangyutta, where Buddha talks about mindfulness on four foundation of mindfulness, Satipatthana, we come across that the Buddha said that uh, these six senses with consciousness create the outside world is real. So if you are not disciplined to do some mindfulness training on six senses, you become caught with all these external things. So the Buddha said to many group of monks that the outside world is created in our mind as real. Therefore, usually human beings think that the world is existing. So if we are not disciplined to know this, and if we are not mindful enough to know what is happening in our mind, we become, the slave of what we see, what we hear, what we sense, and so forth. This is what we come across in Satipatthana, in Salayatana Sangyutta. With this teaching, we can see that normally people react to whatever they hear, whatever they see, and whatever they sense. Suppose somebody come and tell something about you negatively, you become angry, you become upset. If you are not upset, if you are not getting angry, that would be really nice. But what exactly happening to you is known to you, so we become angry. That is because we think that something happened outside is real. So here the Buddha tells Maulia Paguna to discipline in this way. If you hear some bad things about you, about your behavior, about the way you wear your robes, about the way you eat, about the way you do, just look at your own mind. This is very important. Look at your own mind and determine to control it or to discipline it. Here, what is he said? My mind will be unaffected by those bad things, those comments, those criticism. I will blur out no bad words. I never blur out. I never speak bad words. So the first thing you need to think: my mind will not be affected by this statement or comments or criticism. Next, I do not say any bad words. I will remain full of compassion with a heart of love and no hate. This is how Buddha said we should train when we hear something negative. So it's very practical, very important practice for all of us. When you hear something negative about you, this is the thing you need to bring to your mind, bring to your attention. My mind will not be affected by this comment, this statement, this word, that word, no matter what they say. And I do not speak any bad words. I remain in mindfulness with and also loving kindness. I do not allow my mind to create any hateful, negative feelings. If you are taking care of your mind in this way, when you hear something negative about you, Mauliya Faguna Buddha said, that is what I am expecting from you. uh, you may think that this is very simple, there is no such big dhamma in this statement so far, but friends, according to Satipatthana in Sangyutta Nikaya, this is the beginning of uh, the whole dhamma in the Buddha's teaching. When you see something negative happen in front of you, Buddha said, uh, uh, try to practice that this is only seen. This is only some pictures in front of me, and they are made up of four elements. And if some people are in front of you doing something negative, just consider that these people are made up of four elements, and the five aggregates of clinging are there. And whatever ways you may not be able to attached to them if you practice Dhamma. So, with regard to eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind, Buddha has said many things in Satipatthana or mindfulness training. So, this is not simple. This is the beginning of a long journey in the noble teachings of the Buddha. So, Mauliya Paguna is given a very nice idea for him to control his anger, because anger is allowing all kinds of negative feelings to come in. He didn't do any mental training on various Dhamma facts. Therefore, he got angry when he heard about the misdeed or any bad things from the bhikkhuni. So, if he had done something good in his training, he wouldn't do that. But he did, because he lack of training on a necessary principle. So the best thing we can do from this is to determine that I do not, my mind will not be affected by these comments, these words, these negative statements, or even suppose you did something wrong and people speak about it, still you accept the fact that you did something wrong, but criticisms or negative comments they made uh, could be a reasons for you to get angry, but to get upset. But this way of determination make you equanimous, make you calm. So then should not speak any bad words. Then try your best to keep your mind full of compassion and loving kindness, no hate, no any negative thoughts in your mind. So if we can do these little things, it covers many areas of sila, morality, and samadhi, concentration, and wisdom, panya. So the discourse is full of Dhamma. Then Buddha said that many things there. I just want to tell you that Buddha said very clearly that the teaching of the Buddha is for developing some sila, samadhi, and panya. Mauliya Paguna and those bhikkhunis fail into a certain extent to do that because of their attachment to various things. But Buddha simplified the teachings there very clearly, and he asks us to determine that I make sure my actions and words never fall into bad and negative outcomes. Then he said that Buddha clearly said that I did not have any problem with the monks earlier in the sasana because they came to the order just to meditate and end suffering. But when the sasana is growing day by day, a lot of people come into the sasana as bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, and some of their purpose was to practice the dhamma not with rigorous effort, but slow, slightly lavish and easy way. Therefore, a lot of mistake came into being. Here we can find in the discourse that Buddha admired monks and nuns, basically monks, because nuns, bhikkhunis came into exist after 20 years of his ministry. So, in the later period, in the earlier stages of the sasana, monks mainly stick to the Dhamma and attain to enlightenment. So Buddha advised those monks later on, in the later period of the sasana, eat once a day. Friends, Buddha did not have 2 meals in his lifetime, and arahants basically had one meal for a day. And early days, bhikkhus went on Pindapata twice, maybe even in the evening time, but the rules was changed considering the need of food, considering the discipline. So Buddha once advised venerable monks to eat once a day enough, because that makes their practice complete. How? When you eat once a day, you spend time for finding food is less. Therefore, you can occupy your time for meditation. And when you eat enough, you can meditate well. You are not sleeping because of the too much of food. So eating food is for this purpose, and just do it once a day, as I do and our enlightened beings do. This is the advice given by the Buddha. So Buddha said that many monks accepted the rules, but some monks like Mauliapaguna and his caliber did not get it. And he had basically the Buddha admires the monks and the early stages. So Buddha clearly said that give up what is unskillful and devote ourselves to skillful qualities. Sabba papa sakaranang kusalas upasampada. This is the same thing he explained in the Dhammapada stanza. Sabba papa sakaranang. Don't do bad things. Don't do negative things. Give up unskillful things. Kusala supasampada, do only good things. Devote ourselves to skillfulness. So in Sammaditthi, the first quality of the Noble Eightfold Path, we come across the same thing. Sammaditthi means being able to, do something. In the Karaniya Metta Sutta, I just want to quote that discourse, because the first quality of the Karaniya Metta Sutta, Sakko, means the same thing. Sakko means being skillful. So friends, no matter in which age you live in, we all need this quality to be practiced. Being skillful to be mindful about good things, skillfulness to select good things and avoid bad things. So skillfulness can play many roles in deciding what is good and bad. So Buddha said here, give up bad, unskillful, unwholesome thing and focus only good things. In this way, you will expect only growth and improvement and maturity in the teaching and also discipline, Buddha said. So the very clearly Buddha mentioned that we become upset when we do not have qualities. Today, if we look at our life, many people complain themselves. This is a corona period, and many people, all of us, stay at home with restrictions, and this Dhamma stream also come into exist because of the coronavirus. We all know that. Therefore, we have many good things in our life. At the same time, complaining part is also clearly visible. Some people, I'm not saying you, but many people in this society complain that they are restricted to various things. Therefore, people have psychological issues. Those who know how to solve, those who know exactly what is happening according to the Buddha's teaching can solve this problem. But those who do not know anything about such mental training, they become upset. So Buddha clearly said that sometimes people seems good because of the system, because of the wholesome principles uh, that has been followed by others. For example, um, I know a family from a different society that the husband and wife and three children live together, and uh, wife is so good and disciplined, and many people are talking about this family because they are gardening. Their garden is so nice, full of flowers, and they maintain the house very well. When you look at from outside, they we can have this kind of ideas that this family live peacefully. But the wife of this family, the husband, sorry, husband came to know that many people in the vicinity is talking about good of my wife, because she's been keeping the flowers and outer layer of the house very nice, and when people visit us, so everything is in order. So I know that this is not because of my wife magic. It is because I and my children do well, and we are disciplined very well. Therefore, the credit goes to my wife, because she has been going around every day in the garden, and they talk about neighbors about gardening. She is pretending that she does everything. So the husband thinks that uh, the reputation of my wife goes on and on in the society, as she is good and very disciplined, very manageable, humble, because of my good qualities, my effort in making the house nice and tidy, and also my children. So I just want to test my wife whether she is really patient, really good, really humble. So then the test is something like this. He mess up everything one day, then the wife become upset and angry, and her patient is gone. And when some of their friends visit the house, so intentionally husband did something wrong, then the wife get upset and mad at him. So slowly husband came to know that wife is not such discipline, such good, such humble, but it she seems humble for others, because we all, myself and my children, did everything neat and tidy. So that's the experiment that the husband do. So the same thing could happen in the discourse Kakachupama Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya. Let me tell you that story. This story tells us that some of us do not have that type of wonderful qualities in us, but we are protected because other members of the family are doing well. Let me tell you this in other words. Sometimes we feel we seems very good. We don't have any problems at home because everybody else is good. Not me, but everybody else is good. Suppose this vihar, there are two more monks at this temple, and I'm as the leading monk. Meet people and talk to people and give counseling and all kind of things. So these two monks work so hard to make this place clean and tidy, and they work under the behind the screen very hard to make everything perfect. But the credit goes to me as the chief incumbent. So people are talking about everything is nice because of the leadership of this chief incumbent, and he's so disciplined and so forth. Exactly what is happening behind? The other two monks work so hard and make the whole place is nice. I'm not telling that this is true, but I'm giving you some examples. Like that, in some families, in some people, one is right and accurate and righteous, follow all kind of disciplinary rules and dhamma, while the others are not doing so. However, reputation goes like that. So Buddha relate this story to Molye Pakuna because he got angry when he heard, uh, you know, bad things about his fellow bhikkhunis. And bhikkhunis got angry because they heard about some misdeed and misbehaviors of Molye Pakuna. So, with regard to this story, the Buddha tell a story. There was a family in Savatthi, and the family was run by a mistress called Videhika. So Videhika was being the mistress of the family, uh, was reputed in the society as a humble and very nice lady. Her house was beautiful, and the gardening was nice. Interior, uh, management was very nice. Everything, was placed in proper places. So it was a very nice house, very manageable, very nice. Then everybody is talking about the good management of Videhika, the owner of the house. The servant of this house, called Kali, thought that my mistress is, everybody is talking about my mistress. My mistress is so popular in the society as disciplined, as good, as humble, and so forth. But she thought that it is me who does everything in the house, outside the house. I do all kind of things, but the reputation goes to my mistress. So I need to check my mistress patience. So she wake up next day, um, 30 minutes late. Let's say that Kali, servant Kali, wakes up every day at 4:30. On the first day of her experiments to check her mistress, she woke up at 5, 30 minutes late. Then Videhika, the owner of the house, got mad and said that why didn't you wake up at 4:30? So you have to do a lot today. So you are rascal lady. You should wake up at 4:30, and something like that was going on. So the first day was done. Second day, servant Kali woke up at 5:30, 1 hour later of her scheduled time to wake up. What was happening there then? Mistress or the owner of the house, Videhika, got mad and used bad words and talk about many negative things of servant Kali. 2 days ago, she was very good, but because of waking up late, Kali was really bad for Videhika. So second day passed, and we come to the third day. Third day in the morning, Kali, the servant, woke up at close to 6. So then the patient of Videhika, the owner of the house, was done, and she got upset and mad at Kali, and abused, verbal abuses were there. Not only that, the Videhika got clothes and throw away towards the Kali, and she used a kind of wood to hit the Kali, and then she got injured. Then Kali's servant got out of the house and loudly say that this is look at what happened to me. Your neighbor Videhika hit me so hard and I'm injured on my head. So blood is going on. This is how your friend is humble and so forth. From that incident, from that moment, Videhika was not popular as humble, patient, manageable, and friendly. Uh, so the experiment made by servant Kali was successful. This story was told by the Buddha to the monk Moliyapaguna and group of monks there to show that sometime uh, we become good and we seems good to other people because of not our practice but by practice of others around us. Sometimes husband seems good for the others because of the uh, discipline by her wife and children. It or the other way around. So in the Kakachupama Sutta, Buddha clearly mentioned that we should be practicing good qualities just to make our mind, not to pretend ourselves. So in Kakachupama Sutta, Buddha clearly mentioned that we should practice determination on moral principles and also samadhi and panya, and that determination to be good and wholesome make us complete. I just want to tell you here that our words make us either good or bad. The way we talk about decide which way we go forward in the noble teaching and discipline. In the as the way we use our words, the Buddha said that there are 5 courses of speech that others may use when they address you. When somebody address you, there would be some reasons for them to address you like that. Their speech may be timely or untimely. Sometimes people talk something about relevant or irrelevant. Sometimes they speak about something happen or something do not happen. Sometimes their speech may be gentle or harsh. Sometimes their speech connected with something wholesome or connected with something unwholesome. So, friends, when we hear something uh, uh, with regard to timely, untimely, or connected with truth or untruth, something gentle or harsh, or wholesome or unwholesome, it is us to understand the meaning of those statements. Why? If we take them as we heard, without any investigation, we may be reacting to them negatively. As in the case of Molye Faguna. So he got angry when he heard about negative things of the bhikkhunis because he thought that they belongs to me. They are my bhikkhunis. So they are my friends. Isn't it the same way that we react to certain things? If somebody talk about your sons and daughters negativities, do you get angry? Sometime, because they are yours. So this seems basic in the teaching of the Buddha and discipline, but it sounds very very interesting because discipline on words, discipline on senses, disciplines on the way we think creates the path for a higher training. Here I just want to mention that mindfulness on speech, mindfulness on action, mindfulness on thinking is very, very important for us. You may be a father, you may be a mother, you may be a sister, or whatever role you play. This training makes you very happy. So I experienced that if we become mindful about what we are saying, if we become mindful what we are doing, at the end of the actions we do, we become happy. We become contented. We become joyous. In order to gain samadhi, we just do something mindful, not necessarily sitting on a cushion and meditate. We can, gain samadhi, type of samadhi, by doing something. So friends, understand what I'm saying, that being mindful about our speech and understanding the message of it, and also thinking about the consequences of taking them as I, me, and myself, make us downfall in the noble teaching and the discipline. So here, Buddha clearly mentioned in Kakachupam Sutta, if somebody talk about negative things about you, just understand these are only words. It's difficult, though I say it, and though the Buddha said to us to do, it's very difficult for us to do unless we haven't done anything to ourselves, self view. But isn't this interesting? Anything negative we hear should be thought as only words. Ditte dittamattang bhavishyati. Sute sutamattang bhavishyati. So when you hear something, when you see something, just think that they are only words. Just also, some pictures. This is how Venerable Daruchirya got to enlightened state. He analyzed every sensory experiences as seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, and so forth. So anything you hear are only words, and try to fill your heart with compassion and love for yourself at least. Then Buddha clearly said that we can discipline ourselves. I come to the conclusion of the discourse, not the Dhamma sermon, to the discourse of Kakachupam Sutta. Practicing compassion in this way is emphasized very much. So remember the statement I said, my mind will not be affected by these words, and I do not blurt out any negative words, and I keep my mind full of compassion, kindness, and so forth. This is the very statement you need to remember and apply anytime you hear any negative things, any negative scenes. You apply these things. Any negative, experience, you apply this statement. As a result of that, you practice compassion and loving kindness, Buddha said, because you are kind and compassionate to you. So you do not want these garbage like unskillful things come in and destroy your peace and happiness. So at the end of the discourse, he said that if you practice loving kindness, according to what I say, you have to practice it full and complete. Suppose somebody come with saw with two handles and cut your hands and legs and ears and nose into pieces. Even at that moment, you have to have compassion and kindness for them. Suppose you are cut into pieces and pieces by by the weapons and by knives and things. You get angry, you get upset, you hate them. They are not following my teaching, the Buddha said. So Buddha clearly mentioned that there is no limit of loving kindness in his teaching. So the limit of loving kindness in his teaching is Nibbana. So basically, this discourse is saying that we should practice patience on our speech, we should practice mindfulness on our speech, we should practice compassion and loving kindness and patience in our actions. Basically, look at your mind and identify thought processes, whether they are wholesome or unwholesome. Then let your mind to embrace loving kindness and compassion. This way you can develop all kinds of positive qualities. So this is exactly what we need to do as lay people, as monks, and as bhikkhunis in order to get into the real training. Friends, within this 40 minutes, I guess, I was explaining what exactly we need to do in order to clear the path of peace and happiness. We haven't explained the higher training yet, but this is how we clear our path. Then we become mindful about what we are doing. In a sermon where Buddha speak of two kinds of thought, we should be able to analyze our mind. Basically, our mind has two sides. What are the two sides? Negative side and positive side. I think since Dhamma practitioners with the Vihara, and also in many ways you have heard about unwholesomeness and wholesomeness. This is called with kusala vitakka and akusala vitakka. Akusala vitakka means three kinds of thoughts: sensual pleasures, ill will, and cruelty. These are the three main thought processes on akusala vitarka, unwholesome state of mind. When it comes to kusala vitarka, wholesome state of mind, we have three. What is the three? Thought of renunciation. It means our mind is governed always by giving away of things. We do not want to attach to things, but detachment is the governing essence of our mind. That is the first one. Then compassion and loving kindness are the two. So these are the two sides of the mind. Whenever we discipline ourselves with words, action, and even little bit of thinking, we need to identify the two sides of our mind and always give fuel to develop the positive side, kusala vitarka, and overcome the akusala vitarka, which means negative side of our mind. As a result of this training, in the Samyutta Nikaya, Buddha said clearly that we can practice mindfulness on body, mindfulness on feelings, mindfulness on mind, mindfulness on mental state. Satara Satipatthana. When we come to Satara Satipatthana, it is the foundation for Nibbana. I would like to turn it in that way, because when one practices for foundation of mindfulness, they can clearly see the path for peace and happiness. That is the place where in the training we begin the noble practice. In Pali we call Maggang Sanjayati. There is a moment we clearly see the Magga for peace, for Nibbana. So one has to do something in the training to see the Magga. Suppose you start with the alms giving and offering puja and you go to temple. I don't say many people who do this kind of thing see the Magga. Magga could be cleared when you started the training and see this kind of discipline. You discipline your words, you discipline your actions, and you are not hurt by others' words, and you see what is happening in your mind and body into a certain extent. Then you practice the noble qualities in the Satipatthana. That is the place where you begin the training very well. This is relevant to bhikkhus and even lay people. Whoever it is, this is the place where one begins their training, real training into nirvana. So when you practice the four foundation of mindfulness called Satipatthana, you can gain jhanic experiences where you sense the nibbana very well. Then with the jhanic experiences, you can attain to certain level of enlightenment called Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, and Arhats. So very detailed sermon is summarized into a very concise level within the given period of time. So I open up the sermon for discussion. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. Once again, my purpose of the sermon is to tell you that discipline your words, discipline your action. Sometimes we are guided by unwholesome state to think that we are good, but it is not true according to Dhamma. We have to be clear. Like in the story of Molya Phaguna, he got angry because of lack of practices. Then the Buddha asked to discipline well. One statement I reiterated: when something happened, when something negative you heard, this is the thing you need to think. My mind will not be affected by this comment, that words, this man's statement, and so on. And I do not speak any bad words, and I keep my mind remain in mindfulness, concentration, kindness, compassion. And this is the statement you need to keep in mind. So this is the whole purpose of the Dhamma. So if you have any questions with regard to what I said, you may ask, or any Dhamma questions you have, please feel free to ask. Do you have any questions?
Bante, thank you very much for giving this very valuable sermon. I do have a question. I thought it was very valuable when you were explaining on how we should try and practice equanimity, particularly when people are saying negative things about you. But very often, I think for many of us in today's world, when we're out and about, especially in our careers, you may sometimes, or even in our social lives, sometimes we hear negative things said about us from a second party. And we have a choice of either saying, well, I know this is not true, and I will rise above this and not allow this to affect me. Or you have the choice of maybe going to find the person who started spreading this story or started causing trouble for you, and approaching them head on. And I think coming from Sri Lanka and coming from our Buddhist culture, we try to cultivate this equanimity and this concept that we're not going to let words hurt us or allow these words to affect us if we know what we have done is true. But especially in this society, that can sometimes be perceived as a weakness. Could you please maybe explain, with your knowledge and in the context of Buddhism, how we can reconcile this society that we're living in, and how within ourselves, we know that what we're trying to do is to practice equanimity, but for an outsider, they may see this as a weakness. And how do we, reconcile that?
Yeah, it's a very, very good question. Thank you for asking. And the answer would be not yes and no, because we should address so many things in the answer. Let me try my best. People in this society see our patient as a weakness when we try our best to be mindful, and we tend to give we tend to forgive for people who are mad at us and who do something bad for us concerning our individual practice. Yes, what you said is true, but at the same time, we need to stick to our discipline no matter what these people think. Sometimes we have to expect losing things in our mundane life when we practice the Dhamma. Let me tell you a story with regard to this. One of young Sri Lankans went to accept his first job in Singapore, and he is not drinking any alcohol. So at the party where he was supposed to welcome, the CEO and the managers asked him to drink alcohol. It's a normal thing. Then he said that I am a Buddhist, and by practice I do not take any alcohol. So then they were looking at this man curiously, and they didn't get it very well. So they thought that this man is not suitable for our company, because we have parties like this every month, once or 2 weeks, and drinking alcohol is very common. And if you are not getting with this, it would be not nice, and so forth. Then he said that on the day he was supposed to start his job, that I do not want, if you say that drinking alcohol is a requirement, I do not mind quitting myself, because my principle is good for me than this job with so many immoral things. So then he went to Sri Lanka. He went back to Sri Lanka, leaving the job and the company. And the CEO and the manager, immediate manager, thought that this is remarkable, because no young person could be found in this character in today's world, because he even gave up this lucrative jobs with a huge salary just to protect his discipline, just to protect his wholesome life. And they were amazed about his remarkable quality, and he was asked to come to the company and give a double promotion with a new position. So this story from somebody else from Sri Lanka, I got it from, it's not my own experience, not my friend, but somebody else told me that this happened in Singapore some years ago. So this story tells us that Dhammo have rakkati dhammachari, right? So if we are able to stick into our principles, no matter how uh, you know how socially negativities, we at the end win ourselves, and we can gain the victory. But what I'm saying, what I'm suggesting is not easy, because you are a part of the society and you cannot change the whole society. Basically what is happening, we adjust to the situation. We adjust to the situation in the office, in the society, in groups, and so forth. We cannot change all this environment. So that is what is happening. But practicing Dhamma is a total mental process. Suppose you keep and you keep your mind fresh with the mindfulness and so forth, but at the same time you have to kind of in line with the other people. So if people are not getting your message and your practice, if they do not value your way of life with words and so on, they might create some difficult things for you. But try your best to uh, discipline. Try to seek the security of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha internally. So we should find one way or the other to cope with difficult situation. That's why I was telling you that there is no yes and no answer. Try. That's why we need to practice the Dhamma when we are out of that difficult society, and keep that Dhamma experience stored in our mind to be able to use with negative people. And the other thing I just want to add, if we follow good words, and if we speak good words and try our best to do good things for that, there is an internal invisible energy is surrounding us and protecting us that from dangers. In many discourses, especially with regard to loving kindness in Mettanisansa Sutta, Buddha clearly said outcomes of loving kindness practice, that manussanang piyohoti, amanussanang piyohoti. If we keep our mind full of compassion, human beings like us, and they appreciate us in many ways. Sometimes negative-minded people come to appreciate us later on, but basically many people appreciate us. And then amanussanam piyohoti, even non-human beings appreciate us. So then Devata Rakkanti, divine beings support us and they protect us. Tuatan Chittang Samadhiti, Mukavanno Vipasidati. And if there is something negative is going to happen, actually the power of loving kindness, power of peaceful state of mind create a momentum for us to get out of that problem, these kind of problems. And our mind become concentrated very easily with even a single very limited time period of time. Tuvatang Chittang Samadhi, we can gain concentration easily. So as a whole, I can say that no matter what people say, no matter what kind of things they did, try to stick to your Dhamma. Later it brings you, at least I practice the Dhamma without breaking it, and that satisfaction is there. Thank you for the questions. I think that time is running out. Did I give you a good answer, or do you need any clarification?
No, thank you. Thank you. That explains a lot.
You're welcome. So yeah, try to be in the middle path, which we call Noble Eightfold Path. It is a vast ocean-like things. Sometimes we think that we know the Noble Eightfold Path. We just know how to name it, how to say it, and some aspects are very clear. But making it applicable is not that easy. And following it in the office environment, in the house environment, when we are with friends, practicing it is not easy. But somehow we manage to make short form of short version of Noble Eightfold Path in order to make ourselves satisfied with the Dhamma. I can elaborate because questions period came in the later part of the sermon, but we can line up many good practices to get this kind of happy and peaceful state of mind with the Dhamma. If we practice, my eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, they are subject to impermanence. This is one practice Buddha asks us to do every time. Then whatever comes to your mind, analyze them as good and bad. So then you can push the negative side away and keep the positive side with care and love and let it develop. So these are some of the practices that we all can get and develop ourselves. So try to read the Dhamma, try to listen to Dhamma. I think the best way to enrich ourselves with the Dhamma by discussion. So sharing your ideas. So these things are the practices we can do on daily basis. At the same time, I stick to the sutta, determine my mind will not be affected by this. I do not speak bad words. I keep my mind full of compassion, awareness, love, generosity, and so forth. So I think we should end the discourse today because in about 10 minutes I begin another sermon. So I just want to mention the names of those devotees who sponsor this wonderful Vassana program, I guess, not only with this sermon, but the whole program. Let me tell these names. There are a couple of names. I thank them personally for sponsoring this wonderful Dhamma practice. Therefore, many people can benefit from it. By the power of these meritorious powers, may these great individuals be in peace, happiness, and so forth. These are the wholesome Dhamma friends mentioned here. Subhashini, Amal, and Shani Bogamua, Gayani, Rushen, Oneli, and Dilshan Veeraratna, Janak, Deepani, Sandali, and Nimindu Ambalangodagi, Dudarshika, Tarindas, and Theoni the Soisa. And we have Krishant, Aruni, Asanya, and Nikit Vaulagala, Chamara, Shayankni, and Ken Sandadura, Madhavi, Kavit, Tihan Padukka Vidana. I'm sorry if I mispronounce your names. These are the individuals who sponsor today's sermon. Thank you very much. And I think you accumulated a lot of merits by doing this great Pinkama and Kusala Kama. By the power of the sponsoring and following the Dhamma, may you all stay peaceful and happy. Children in the families may encounter many opportunities to practice Dhamma. Those parents also get the benefit from Dhamma, and may you all practice Sila Samadhi and Panya, culminating your peace and happiness and Nibbana. May your departed relatives also receive this blessing, and may they be well, happy, and peaceful in the samsara, and finally make their final attempt to Nibbana. Divine beings who like the Dhamma receive this blessing, and may they be well, happy, and peaceful. May they attain Nibbana. Finally, I just want to make a note that Venerable Panyasari has been doing a great service for you, and because of his Kalyana Mitta qualities, you have opportunities to listen to Dhamma being at home, and he accumulates a lot of merits of his own. At the same time, transfer these blessings together to Venerable Panyasari for his success in the noble training, and may he attain Nibbana. Let's make a great determination at last. By the power of meritorious powers from this sermon, may we all attain Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
සාදු 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 තෙරුවන් සරණයි වාසනාවන්ත පින්වත්නි අපගේ කාරුණික ආරාධනාව පිළි අරගෙන අද දවසේ 2020 අවුරුද්දේ වස් කාලයේ පවත්වන විශේෂ ධර්ම දේශනා පින්කම පවත්වන්නට යෙදුනේ කැනඩාව හිල්ඩා ජයවර්ධනාරාම බෞද්ධ භාවනා මධ්‍යස්ථානයේ ගරු ප්‍රධාන අනුශාසක අවසරයි අපේ ජිනානන්ද හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේ බොහෝම කරුණාවෙන් අපේ ආරාධනාව පිළි අරගෙන අද දවසේ ධර්ම දේශනාව පවත්වන්නට යෙදුණා. අපේ හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේට නිදුක් නිරෝගී සුව චිරජීවනය ශාසනික වැඩ තව තවත් සිද්ධ කරන්නට අවශ්‍ය කායික මානසික ශක්තිය ධෛර්යය තවත් ලැබේවා කියලා අපි ප්‍රාර්ථනා අධිෂ්ඨාන කරනවා ඔබ වහන්සේට. Dear friends of the Dhamma, we bless you for your participation today in the Saturday weekly program. We at the New England Buddhist Vihara and Meditation Center would like to first of all thank the Most Venerable Jinananda Thero of the Hilda Jayawardhanarama Buddhist Monastery, Ottawa in Canada. And we would also like to thank the families that sponsored today's program. Mrs. Shubhashini Bogamua Amal and Shani Bogamua, Mrs. Gayani Ruhen Oneli and Mr. Dilhan Viraratna, Mrs. Aruni Asanya Nikit and Mr. Krishanta Vaulagala, Mr. Janak, Mrs. Deepani and Sandali and Nimidu Ambalangudage, Mrs. Dudarshika Tarinda and Tionida Soisa, Mr. Chamara Shanki and K.N. Sandaradura, Mrs. Madhavi Kavit and Mr. Tihan Padukka Vidana. So we wish them and ultimate peace, ultimate happiness by accumulating this wonderful meritorious action. This concludes the program for today. May you be well, happy and peaceful. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Teruvan saranai හැමදෙනාටම.